What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be reviewing the Girsan Witness 2311 Match X. With the recent time, there's been a ton of double stack 1911s or 2011s on the market, and the Witness 2311 by Girsan is no exception. Like I said in the beginning, this is the Match X version with an island port style comp up at the front, very reminiscent of the Staccato XC, but at a fraction of the price. Before we dive into the firearm, we're going to talk about the optic that we have on the top. This is Gideon Optics Judge XL. It's an RMSC cut optic with a big window, kind of like an SRO but for an RMSC. So right out of the box you get two magazines by Checkmate, a 17 and a 20 rounder. We've had zero issues with these guys. We put a couple hundred rounds through it. No feeding issues so far. The grip is pretty nice. Texturing could be a little bit better, but overall out of the box it works just fine. The trigger sits at around 4.5 pounds. For a double stack 1911, that's kind of a good starting point. As you get up into like an XC or something like that, it drops to about 2.5 pounds, which that is extremely crisp. But comparing the two, is it worth another $4,000? I think that should just be a comparison later on the channel. You have this massive rail underneath the firearm, which you can essentially add literally whatever you want. It's like Desert Eagle territory, honestly. It's a little much, but hey, I'd rather have more than not enough. The barrel is 5 inches long, and the island style port is actually connected to the barrel, so it's all one piece. Unfortunately, as you can see from the B-roll footage, our little fiber optic front post is nowhere to be found. I have no clue what happened there, but we will be fixing that very soon. I'm not really that worried about it because I run an optic on it anyways, so I'm not going to be using the irons. The serrations and the lightning cuts up at the front and towards the rear are very nice. Great for press checking, but after you put a couple hundred rounds through it, you don't want to put your bare hand up near that barrel. It does get pretty hot. And one of the big things I like about it is the aesthetics. The two-tone gunmetal gray and black looks amazing, and overall the Match X is running just as good as it looks. But I think that's enough talking. Let's get down to the range. All right, so we're out here on the range. We got some Federal 115 grain FMJs. We're just going to stick with that. Usually we do Blazer and Federal and we kind of switch in between, but today we're just doing Federal. Let's get right into it. One thing about this gun in particular is just how smooth it is. It is addicting just doing this. We're not going to bore you with an hour of that. We got 17 rounds loaded up. I think this is a little bit more fun. I was able to hit that target just fine. Center mass, no problem. I'm not a crazy distance away, but fast follow-up shots like that is made easy with something like this. Again, that big island port style comp up at the front is doing a good amount, honestly. I kind of was like, my experiences with ports and comps have been it's interesting. But this particular one right here is doing a lot of work up at the front, and you can really feel that. And one of the big things that contributes to that is this whole assembly right here with the barrel and the comp is all one. It's not two separate entities, it's all one piece. That weight alone is keeping the muzzle down. And then adding this island port style comp is just, well, you have a recipe of a very flat shooting handgun for a very great price. Another thing I like about the firearm itself is the two-tone. So it's the black with the kind of gray gunpowder look. And then with the stainless steel looking magazines, it just kind of looks beautiful. I don't know what it is. From factory, I think it looks great. I like shooting this, I don't know. There is one thing I will note just real quick. A couple people on Instagram, they have a couple older models of this guy when it first came out. It doesn't have the X on the port up at the front. That is really hot. Don't touch that after you just shot it. But anyways, if you don't have the X up at the port, you might have an older model. Now you might run into some feeding issues. I've heard this from a couple other people, so that is just one thing to note. I thought that was a myth until I started getting in reports from other people like, hey, I don't have that X on the port. This one's not, feeding this, it's not eating this, doesn't like this type of ammunition. And I was like, interesting. So that is just one thing to know. If you do hear anything like that on the market, they've updated this model, which is this guy right here. Best way to know is if it's got the X right on the port. Some great features on there. Honestly, the trigger is pretty nice from factory. We are clear. 4.5 pound trigger, which is really nice. Reset could be a little bit sharper, but overall very solid. I mean, it's more than enough at this point. Overall, I think the safeties are fine, especially for you lefties out there. I mean, you got ambi controls for that. Not ambi slide release, but ambi safety. So that is a nice little pro for you lefties out there. These magazines are really great. So these are Checkmate mags. So very pleased to see these guys. You get two of them. So you get one 20 rounder and one 17 rounder, which is always very, 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 very nice. And they seem to be cycling just fine. As we shoot this guy and get past 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 rounds, however much we shoot through this guy, we will keep you guys updated in the milestones and see how everything is performing. The feed ramp, if it has any feeding issues, ejection issues, how the magazines are holding up, the springs, all that good stuff. So one thing to note that a lot of people don't talk about is the porting. So porting is great, especially for muzzle rise. That is a beautiful thing about ports and comps. However, you need to think about the cleaning aspect of it. If you don't like to clean your gun, you might not want this because that's just a little bit more maintenance that you have to think about. Now I know a lot of people, well, you know, you don't have to clean your gun, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, if you want things to run nicely, I change my oil in my car when I need to. So you might want to clean your gun if you wanted to keep it maintaining and last a little bit longer. You can tell right here, there's a lot more to clean in the port system, down the barrel, and also just into the slide as well. If the gun is ported and it's coming out like right here, well, that's getting all into that slide, which is another thing you have to keep in mind. That buildup will cause reliability issues in the future if you don't stay on top of that.
Such a smooth slide, I love it. Let's go ahead and put some shots down range here. I think I literally missed only one shot. Holy cow, I love this thing. Oh boy.
Watch out there.
That damn.
Okay, I was way off. Last shot. Come on, you can do it, guys. That's the one thing Skylar and I were talking about with like a 2011 style pistol. Wow, that slide is hot. Are you okay, little finger? I know you've been through a lot recently. That really hurt. With a fat grip like this, with, you know, double stack 1911s, getting to that slide release is like, you have to break your grip a little bit to kind of get to it. But hey, if that's the only thing I complain about, that's nothing, that's minuscule. The reason we went with this guy right here, this is the Gideon Judge XL. This thing is a massive window for an RMSC cut optic. I'm just calling it the RMSC SRO is pretty much what it is. I highly recommend a big window optic for double stack 1911s just because you want the biggest field of view, and boy oh boy does this give it to you. Oh, it gives it to you, all right. If you haven't already, go check out the description down below where we have our newsletter. I know that sounds a little boomerish, but just in case if something happens here on the platform and we disappear, we can send you an email at any time letting you know where we are off to next. It's also updates for you if we have any events, we host any events, we do any big projects, or we just find deals that you might be interested in. We got 25 of you. Let's bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Come on now. Thanks to our good friends over at Girsan for sending this guy out. Also, thank you to our good friends over at EAA Corporation. We really do appreciate you guys. This has been probably one of the most fun firearms we've shot recently, and we cannot wait to see what they do in the future. Stay tuned. We have a whole bunch of cool projects coming up. We also have some really, really cool reviews. Some big bore firearms are coming to the channel. Maybe a 50 BMG. I don't know. You'll just have to hit that bell notification so you'll be the first one to know. We hope to see you guys in the next one.